everybody. This is Peter Anderson and my brother Will Anderson, and we're professional musicians in New York City, and we're going to bring you some footage today from our projects that we've been doing behind the scenes as this COVID pandemic has put our live performing career on hold. Particular year, we celebrated the music of the great trumpeter and vocalist Louis Armstrong. And the high school in Metuchen, New Jersey asked us to bring the project and perform it for over 1,000 high school students. And, the COVID pandemic unfortunately made that not possible. So we were able to record it and bring it to the students virtually. We decided to film at a very special musician's house who we've known for a long time, who was going to be part of the band originally, but his house is a little bit of a museum. He has all this memorabilia from the 1920s and 30s, and we thought it would be a special place to kind of bring the students into this space.
Oh, yeah. Signature, here's Louis Armstrong's signature.
Oh yeah.
On this drum head.
When you ask kids who Louis Armstrong is, they often answer that he was the first person to walk on the moon, mistaking him for Neil Armstrong. But Louis Armstrong was kind of the father of American jazz music. He was born in 1904 and in New Orleans, Louisiana, and he radically shaped the sounds that came years after by people like Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra and Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk. So without Louis Armstrong, American music, even musicians that came later like in blues like Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, they would not have sounded anything like they do without the great Louis Armstrong.
And my public named me the king of jazz. I didn't do it, the trumpet and myself.
You know, when I just think about the most important figures in American music and why our music has the sound that it does, it's because of Louis Armstrong. And in addition to presenting his music and his style to the students through all the instruments and through singing and through the kind of aesthetic that the older style of jazz had, we also like to tell a little bit about Louis Armstrong's story, because as my brother mentioned, he's from New Orleans, but he was also extremely poor. He didn't have a father growing up, and kind of all the odds were against him. When he was young, he also went to a kind of boarding school / prison, and somehow he kind of overcame all these odds and became one of the most famous entertainers in history. And he, despite his greatness, he received a lot of criticism for various reasons. He kind of overcame a lot of the difficult race relations throughout the decades, and he just collaborated with so many different people and kind of was always looking forward. So the story of his life is also very moving. I think, there are definitely ties to current music. One example is Lady Gaga just put out an album with Tony Bennett, and she sang all these songs that Louis Armstrong played, Cheek to Cheek, and songs by Gershwin, and The Way You Look Tonight, all these different songs. So there's a lot of examples of Louis' style and music in pop culture. One of the things I love about working with students, though, is they're so young and they haven't been exposed to as many styles and biases and things like adults have. So they just like what's good. If they hear something that's quality, that's entertaining, that's interesting, that's intellectual, they'll like it no matter what. Yeah, I mean, I think the times we're in, it's only temporary. And I think the virtual concerts and the virtual learning and all this stuff is just a way to, bridge us to get through this time. I think people really value in-person, artistic expression, live comedy, live music, theater, Broadway shows. All this kind of thing will always survive because people are fascinated by things being done artistically right in front of their eyes. And so we look forward to the day where we can, get back in full swing and bring that music to people. But for now, it'll just have to be done virtually.
This time for musicians involves a lot of creativity to keep what we have going.
The music industry is not the only one that's suffering from this, so there's lots of different businesses and things that have been kind of slowed down. I would say yes, but I'm confident that things will come back. I think people will always want live music. I mean, people just love music.
This is Will Anderson signing off, and just everyone out there, stay safe, and thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to check out music in general, but especially jazz music.
On behalf of my brother Will and I, we want to say, please stay safe and have faith for the future. We're going to get through this all right.
Sorry, I thought we were only going to do